That's us again. Prop talk.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yes, guys, welcome back to Prop Talk. Today we've got a guest that I've wanted to bring in. He can really chat and he knows his stuff in the industry. So welcoming Mihai. Mihai, welcome to Prop Talk.
Thank you, gents. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. So we've been talking for a couple of months, but predominantly we've got a partnership through the company you work with that have been with us since we started Nostro Centroid. So I just wanted, like, Centroid's a massive player in trading, brokerages, prop firms, but a lot of traders won't really know what sort of Centroid is. So do you want to just explain a little bit about yourself, like what your role is and like how you come to work in Centroid, of course, and what you sort of do for the company?
Certainly. So to start on the Centroid side of things first, we've been around since about 2017. And simply put, what we do, we are the plumbing behind brokerages, right? So that's what our bread and butter is. That's where we started. That's where we have a lot of the focus in. So when it comes to liquidity bridges or risk management engines and hosting, that is our domain. And we're about 400 firms strong. So in terms of our client portfolio, we've got about 105 employees going strong. And we have loads of partnerships. Now, we help brokerages that operate on the retail side of things, so that deal with, direct client trading volume. But on the other hand, we also help brokerages expand their insti business, right? So the brokerages that want to get into the liquidity provision or providing pricing. So our tech pretty much adheres to the whole chain, right? From liquidity providers to brokers to prop firms. So it's pretty integral to the whole ecosystem as a whole.
Without Centroid, there would be no prop firms, basically.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And it's funny you say that because we have seen a growing number of prop firms, not only in our inquiries, but our client base as well.
Yeah.
And coming from that backbone of brokerage operations, it's very similar to prop firm operations, but it is very different in other ways as well.
Yeah. What's your role inside Centroid? What do you do?
So I joined in November 2024 of last year as a business development manager. So that's pretty much what I do. I'm client facing. I work hand in hand with prop firms, brokers, liquidity providers mostly, to basically solve their biggest problems.
Yeah.
What are the biggest problems?
That's for prop firms.
For prop firms, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm most interested in finding out, yeah.
That's a good question. I think that question can be looked at from a couple different perspectives because, well, what jumps at me initially are these prop firm entrepreneurs, the launchers that come to launch these prop firms, they often come from a marketing background or from gaming, let's say. So they don't necessarily have the dealing and the risk management knowledge when they start, right? So they're really damn good at making a good brand and bringing attraction and volume and eyes. But when it comes to the actual operations, they need a lot of help with that, at least to get them started and to show them the ropes. So I think that is a gap in the market that needs to be filled, and it's not the easiest because it's hard to find services that fill that need really well or in-house people that know what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, I've not actually had too much personal involvement with you guys. I'm seeing it all on the sidelines, but I know how important Centroid's been to Nostro because very similar. Our story kind of went down that path, right? So we've all come from different backgrounds, but we launched the first version Nostro before rebranding Nostro Markets. And we all had a really good idea of how we're going to market it, certain things we wanted to do, trying to give back to the traders, build a community, all the really important stuff which we saw was a gap. But when it came to what you're talking about now, this is where Centroid's been really helpful to us. And I imagine it's probably so helpful to the prop firms as well, because it's interesting though you said about gaming. The people who have a background in gaming have come over and started prop firms. Is it because of because it's all simulated and that sort of thing, or how do you find a connection between like the old gaming industry and then like the new prop firm world? Because it is relatively new, right?
Well, I think it boils down to the end user, right? These end users in these industries, there's some overlap. And oftentimes the way that these users go from product to product are by being offered similar products that adhere to their same preferences, right? So oftentimes we see the industry going through trends and phases, right? So, you know, at one point in time it was binary options, and then it was something else like NFTs, right? Just something to get them engaged. So when a new product comes along that fills that similar role of, oh, this is new, this is interesting, I want to try it, they have no problem of switching over, right? So that's why I say a lot of these entrepreneurs come from the gaming side of things, because they're also used to that same type of evolvement of their operations and industry.
Yeah. So something you're really, really passionate about is how we actually got connected is something you've sort of mentioned before, risk within prop firms, right? Since Nostro's been launched, I've seen big prop firms go under. I've seen small ones try launching.
So many launches.
And they go straight away. We've seen it ourselves. We've had problems within Nostro. One of the biggest problems, and you guys have sort of built a solution for this. So obviously just a bit of transparency with traders and stuff. So you've built something called Prop Shield, which you've just come in today and you've sort of said it might be a bit late when this episode comes out, but there's been a big row of X. I try and keep off X as much as possible now, because it is the cesspit of life. It's not. You can go on X and you can feel like the best person in the entire world, and within 10 minutes you have been torn down. So
the keyboard warriors.
I learned very quickly. I'm like, right, post and ghost on there. Don't go on. But obviously within the prop space, you're on X? I take it. Are you in that?
Actually, I'm not. I'm not. So when I saw the notification today, it was actually a previous client we were having brunch with, and he showed me, hey, look at what happened last night. And I was like, no way, because I've known about this since about February, and now it's coming full circle about, you know, so
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, so just to shine a little bit of light, well, X is like a soap opera anyway, especially with a prop firm. Something happens and it's going off and there's arguing and CEOs arguing. But basically, you come to us 3 months ago and you said, look, we've spoke to number of prop firms in the industry, and there's a massive problem with cheaters, group hedging against each other prop firm, which obviously to traders listening to now might go, well, that's prop firms just try to be greedy. It's not. It's actually ruining the real traders' experience.
The whole experience, yeah.
Because what's had to happen over the course of the last 2 years is prop firms have had to introduce rules to try and combat these people that are, and the big scams, a lot of them, the big groups of people working together.
Can we explain what it is?
Yeah, so basically traders will go into prop firm A, they might buy 100k account, they might go, it could be over like 4 prop firms, they might buy 4 prop firms accounts. They'll basically full port them, pass them, get them to funding, and they've got systems where then they can get a massive payout, at least one of them, and it's well outweighs what they've paid. So that prop firm's then got a massive haul, and it's not legitimate trading. It's difficult to prove that the trader's not traded properly and he's sort of cheated. And a lot of prop firms have died from it. Like I've spoken to a few prop firm owners myself that have just been pulling their hair out. They've been in real trouble. So you guys, just to explain, Centroid is almost like a central system, right? So our trades go to your bridge and they capture all trades, what's happening. And you guys have sort of come up with a solution that's legal. Yeah.
So this is actually an extension of the risk management system, which works in conjunction with the bridge. But what you're describing here is Prop Shield. So simply put, we came up with this earlier this year when we saw a need in the market. And that was based off of some happenings that were going on right then and there, and also what we saw in the year before. So just some facts for you guys. 80% of the payouts done in 2024 from prop firms was for quote unquote fraudulent trading activity. And these, you cannot track that because all the risk management engines that are out there on the market, including ours, how it was before, and the other ones, they track risk inside a single firm, right? So you're not able to actually, at least effectively, track these inter-firm abusers, right? Now, don't get me wrong. These types of traders and these strategies, they've been around since Forex has been around. I mean, when you look at the history, it's not a new concept, right? This has been happening for a long time. But with the uprise of prop firms, and like we mentioned earlier, these prop firm entrepreneurs aren't so adept to how to handle the risk and stuff. They're at a big risk exposure for these abusers to come in and take advantage of their systems, which was very evident. We look at how many prop firms went down, right? 80% of the payouts were to those types of traders.
80%?
In 2024.
Wow, that's huge. I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and like you said there, is them payouts are probably getting higher for the people that are cheating, but like real traders who've got real strategies are finding it harder because every prop firm has had to tighten
the rules and everything.
Tighten up all the
That's
rules.
the thing.
And
it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair, no.
It's not fair. So it's, I've spoken to some prop firms and they're like, oh, but, let's say I take on Prop Shield and it'll flag some traders for me. And then traders know I have Prop Shield and, then traders won't want to trade with me. And then it's going to be like, hey, well, these traders that don't want to trade with you, you don't want them anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be there to do that type of activity. So it's like good riddance, right? And at the end of the day, you are bringing a higher level of genuineness to the industry. Absolutely. Because you are promoting those trading strategies, those traders that are true to themselves and that have the interest in line with the prop firm, because that's the point.
Yeah. So,
okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, can you just explain a little bit how Prop Shield, how you've built it? It's like on algorithms and it's
you probably can't give loads away, but like
but just a basic concept of how this will work. And it's almost, for me, it's going to be like a universal thing that probably every prop firm will probably sign up to eventually, because, and it's almost like a council of like, if you've got that, then your traders and traders know that you're sort of legit as a firm. So can you just explain a little bit how it'll work, and so traders don't worry, first of all, because they're probably seeing this and going, oh.
No, first of all, for the traders out there, this is going to bring the industry up as a whole on all levels, creating fairness across the board, right? What's really important, you said the word council. It's not going to be Centroid being the authority figure. In a sense, it's going to be every participant of the Prop Shield community is going to be self-governed. So we give them the power to use our tech to get the information and the knowledge, but they decide what to do with it, right? So simply put, how it works is the trade data, the trade metadata from your operations gets fed into the system. So let's say there's, 5 prop firms or 10 prop firms that are all streaming their trade data. And the system is going to identify patterns based off of what you want to see the patterns, what patterns do you want to see? You can set that, and then the system will identify those patterns for you, matching not only within your firm, but with other firms as well. So with every single prop firm that's plugged into the system, the stronger it gets, the more valuable it becomes for every participant, and the better the industry gets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can I, a bit of pushback then?
Yeah.
So from an outside perspective, looking at this as a brand new product, if I was to be the first or second prop firm to sign up to Prop Shield, right? I'm thinking, well, if you've only got 2 prop firms plugged in there, there's another 150 prop firms. How is that beneficial to me?
Look, that's an uphill battle. What we're choosing to do, this endeavor we've chosen to take on, we completely understand that the rollout of this is, the first of its kind. So there's going to be a lot of pushback and questions, but we're prepared for that. That's what Centroid does.
You love that, though. You do thrive on it. We've had some meetings, and to be fair, like Preston, who's been on the podcast, he's dialed in, and you hold your own with it. So
we push the envelope. And when you look at our other products, like especially the bridge and the risk, we push out features every month, if not almost every week, like in our channel. So we're always implementing and making sure we're ahead of the curve. So when it came to, conceptualizing Prop Shield and how we want to distribute it, there's no other way around the fact of, okay, with every prop firm that's added, it gets stronger, right? That's just the way that the nature is of the product itself. So we have thought, okay, how do we curtail that objection? And the simplest way is to kind of make like a ramp up strategy where we have a type of, so like I said, the Prop Shield is built off of our risk engine.
Yep.
So you can't have Prop Shield without the risk engine. But we understand that the risk engine is quite a heavy tool, and maybe the prop firm that needs Prop Shield doesn't need the risk engine.
Yeah.
So we've understood and figured out a way to bring our risk engine down to a type of skeleton where we can implement it, launch it, and have the prop firm on board with it. But it's just the bare bones feature. However, it still gives them access to the full Prop Shield solution.
Okay.
So that's going to be a little bit more inviting to the prop firms that aren't ready to, pull the trigger on the whole risk engine.
Yeah, fair. And so, like, just to make this like clear to everyone, right? It's no one's sort of done this before because it's very hard to do this legally, right? The way you've built it, you're not going to be sharing any personal details, anything like that about the trader. It's almost going to like tag them on a code or something, so you can sort of see that. So you going back to the Twitter, you come in this morning and you sort of said, "Oh, have you seen what's gone on Twitter?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, not." But you've sort of explained a little bit now. This isn't like putting anything on these firms and stuff, but basically, some firms have already sort of been doing this already, but obviously, it's not very legal when you're sharing that.
Look, I'm very glad that you bring that up because now that's public info, given what's going down on X, the appetite is there. These prop firms, they want to protect themselves against these inter-firm fraudulent trading activities. Yeah. So we know that the need is there. We know that these traders are getting more and more advanced. One of the most recent ways I saw is they're actually able to reverse hedge futures against CFDs now. So these algorithms are starting to now bring cross symbol like CFD to futures, which is pretty intense. So these fraudulent traders, they're getting more and more advanced, right? So the appetite is there for fighting against this. And we saw this right from the get-go when I heard about something like that. Yeah. And now that it's in the limelight, we understand that the need is getting stronger and stronger. And we can see that what was going on before with just a spreadsheet and just the sharing of the information, it didn't work. Yeah. And it not only didn't it work, it wasn't right to do.
Yeah.
Right. So now you introduce a system like Prop Shield, where every entity plugs in and shares their trade data, tracks the trade data, and identifies the patterns of the inter-firm collusion. And when it comes to the actual tracking of the traders, no personal identifier info goes into the Prop Shield system itself. So there's no commingling of info between firms at all. Everything stays within the prop firm itself. So there's no risk of exposing emails to emails. However, we have found that concept to be much stronger in actually tracking the trade data. So what we've done is we figured out a way to codify or to hash the email where it never actually enters the Prop Shield system, but the only thing that enters is a code, which is actually tagged to the email. So the email never goes into the Prop Shield system. It's just the code. But now if that code does, or that same trader signs up somewhere else and they're known to be an abusive trader, then you'll get a notification, or they'll get a notification where it says, okay, this trader is known to be an abusive trader.
Clever.
That prop firm won't know what other prop firms they've traded with because they don't even care about that. They just want to know who that trader is. And that maintains the privacy and the identity of everybody involved and still solves the same problem.
Yeah. Good.
I think it's great. There's no other, at the moment, there's no other competitor for this like Prop Shield product. You guys first to market with this?
We've done some market research. From our research, we found that there was one US-based tech provider that tried to do something similar to this, but they couldn't figure out the workaround to this hashing of the personal identifier info. So that project didn't go ahead. And the only other thing I know that is kind of similar to this is from another provider that sticks mainly to the prop CRM. But it's not to the in-depth level of that we're doing in terms of the trade metadata tracking with the like actual behavioral pattern of these traders with analysis, and you can set your own levels and degrees of what you want to track, right? Because let's be honest, with this type of system, you're likely to have many false positives. That's just the nature of the system, right? Because a lot of traders trade similarly. So what you can do in the system as a prop firm, you can set what abuse means to you, right? So let's say one trader gets flagged 3 times, maybe that's not abuse to you. But let's say that same trader gets flagged 8 times on the same type of abuse, then that flags to you, okay, let me keep a little bit more of a, tighter watch on this trader.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I think it's definitely going to, the industry needs to do something, and this is, I take it back to the traders, right? The other thing for traders at the moment, right, is lots and lots of traders, they earn lots of money, then they just don't get paid, right? So the feeling for a lot of prop traders now, it's like, I remember when I first started trading back in like 2020, and prop firms, you were like, oh, they're these gold standard. And I think that trust over the course of the last 4 years has just massively gone, yeah. And like us at Nostro, we've tried doing everything as honestly, transparency, even having this conversation now. Like, if we're going to embed, or if we've got Pop Shield in, I want to make it clear to everyone. And I think the industry as a whole should all sort of maybe have some sort of badge or something on the website that we have this. If you're not happy with this, then you're probably best not sort of trading with us. So I think it's a really interesting product, and I think it definitely helps shape bringing prop firms back on the right level with people. Just like sort of moving on a little bit, you said you joined Centroid in 2024. Are you from like a trading background before that? Have you done trading yourself? Yeah.
So I joined the Forex industry, the brokerage space, 5 years ago, on the B2C side primarily. So I was on the B2C side for the first 2 years in my brokerage sector history. And I worked at 4 different brokers, primarily in sales. I enjoyed the job quite a lot. I enjoyed the people that I worked with. But I didn't find as much fulfillment as I was looking for on that side of the industry. So I knew I wanted to stay in the industry, but I wanted to find a different role also in sales where I get to solve problems. And that's where I landed in B2B. So my first B2B gig was with Brokerage Solutions, which are well known for their social trading and their PAM. And I was there for about a year and 7 months, a year and 8 months or so. It was at that point, actually, my very first client was a prop firm. Actually, quite a big one. They were like top 10 at some point in time. They're still around today, and I helped them basically launch their front-facing user interface by helping them out with the MT4, MT5 API, which just basically allows to create like communications and the front end for the trading platform and stuff like that. And that's when I knew that I have a passion for prop firms, because just seeing that project come to life as my first client in B2B was pretty cool. So, yeah. Yeah,
you're based out in the Forex capital of the world. Let's say everyone thinks it's Dubai, but it's definitely not.
The mini Dubai.
It's definitely the Forex capital of the world. Everything we do, or if you try to onboard something, you're like, right, Limassol.
Yes, sir.
Everyone is in Cyprus. So you live in Cyprus, don't you?
Correct.
Are you from Cyprus?
I was born in Cyprus. I'm full Romanian by blood, but I grew up in Canada, in Toronto, my whole life. Yeah.
Ah, right. So I can hear the Canadian your accent a little bit. Yeah. So you're in Cyprus now. Yeah. What's that like?
I DJ in Cyprus years ago.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. I played in Limassol, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. This is back in like 2016, 17. I used to be a DJ years ago. And that was one of my first international gigs was Limassol. I was absolutely buzzing for it. It was great. I was like, I'm abroad. I'm getting paid to be here. It's cool. Limassol, it's great.
Yeah, was it at like a festival? Or?
It was just a small event. A guy's still running those parties now, I think. A guy called Marcus. And He's booked me for one of my first internationals. I was just staying at his house. It wasn't like I was in a hotel or anything. I stayed in his spare room. But I remember spending the weekend at Limassol, and yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a cool place.
Well, it's definitely.
But it is the central.
It's essential
Forex
for
place.
trading,
Yeah.
Forex and stuff. So you'll see quite a lot of opportunities. Where do you think there's obviously like now prop firms have gone massive, all young kids and stuff like that. It's everywhere. It's all over social medias and stuff like that. Do you think prop firms are now more prominent than actual brokerages and trading? Where do you sort of see the industry at the moment?
Look, when it comes to prop firm and broker ops, similar tech, similar type of responsibilities in terms of minimizing risk and all that stuff, but the flow is different.
Yeah.
When you look at the actual flow coming through, prop firms are, at least sizable prop firms, are blowing brokers out the water.
Really?
In terms of notional volume, yeah.
Okay.
So on the tech provider side of things, it's really good because we see our systems going to certain extents that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like how many yards are being produced a month.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see our systems, hold that up.
Can you explain to people what a yard is?
Sure. So basically what a yard is, it's the technical way of a notional $1 billion in volume. So when you guys go to trade your lots, right? These lots accumulate or add up to a certain dollar amount. And I believe usually the standard is one lot is equal to 100K, right? So you guys can do the math. If one lot is 100K, how many lots would be $1 billion in volume? And a lot of brokers end up doing 5, 10, 100, 400 plus yards a month, which is $400 plus billion in notional volume a month.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
I remember being on a call with when we just first sort of started, and we were going through all our data, and they were like, "Yeah, 12 yards," and I was just like, "I have no idea what they're talking about," but I sort of understand it now. But yeah. So just carry on with where you think prop firms and brokerages will sort of be.
So the growth from a prop firm is ultimately to create that ecosystem for the traders. So I do believe that the natural progression would be to open that brokerage arm, like how you guys are doing, which again, huge congratulations on that. It's another piece of the puzzle that will create a cohesive experience for your customers.
Yeah, I've spoke about it before. You might understand this, but probably one of the most stressful times of our life is going through getting our licenses and stuff.
I thought we weren't talking about that anymore.
But like, the amount of like paperwork effort you've got to go through to get that to make that step. But definitely the next step for us is opening in Nostro markets as a broker.
And it means a lot to the traders because what we find are the most successful clients, they have that backing of either their own brokerage brand or vetted, verified, historical broker that's directly partnered to them, and they plaster that all over their site, right? So having that backing of, look, I'm also a licensed broker, this is where your execution's going. Once you get to the funded stage, like that means a lot to the traders for sure.
Yeah, so one of the main questions that I always get asked, and I think when prop firms, I'll be honest, a lot of them are definitely lying with this, because is they proclaim that they're booking every trader on a prop firm. I can probably tell you it's pretty much impossible to do that, right?
It's not possible.
It's not possible, right? So so how many people, because it's also on data as well, right? So you're not just going to open a prop firm and after a month go, we can do something with this data. It's took us 12, 18 months, and we've got to a point where we know what we can do with that to make money on the side of that, right? But how realistic is it that people are making money off prop firm by booking?
it's not a viable strategy, because even though it might get more foot traffic or more eyes on you or more people purchasing Challenge, at the end of the day, whether your traders are getting their trades sent to the market or not, you giving them the real market conditions will have no effect on their trading, right? Whether you book it in-house or send it to the market, it's the risk that you decide to take or not to take. If they're profitable, you still got to pay them out no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So it's more so on the marketing side of things. And even then, traders knowing that it doesn't make a difference to them, that whole spiel of, all our live traders are going to the market. Okay, probably some should be going to the market. But to say all of them, it's just not fathomable, because it's
thousands of people.
It's not possible.
Yeah. It makes me laugh, because I do see some prop firms launch, and they're like, we're A-book everyone, and I'm like,
do they say that?
Yeah. And I'm like, you're definitely not. You're definitely not. No. I think that's you've given the guys an awful lot of content, what goes on behind the scenes of prop firms. And
of course,
a prop firm, for me, a prop firm isn't just when we launched this, I thought, right, it's just a prop firm, we have all this, but it's so many different arms of the business, like Centroid, and loads of different, we've got tech providers, dev, and it's bringing everything together to run that prop firm. So I think it gives a lot of value to the listeners of what actually happens, and it's not just us getting a broker and going, right, we'll turn this on and we'll do these with the spreads and that, because it just doesn't work like that. It's the number one thing I get is, you've changed your spreads and stuff. I've not changed anything. I've literally not touched anything. So thank you for coming on. Any advice to any traders before we go? What would especially to a prop firm trader, seeing it from the back end, have you got any words of advice, how you think they can get themselves profitable?
Look, just from a technology provider point of view, I think the effect that prop firms brought to our industry as a whole is that they force the traders to have a much deeper understanding of their own trading and their own behavior in the market, their own understanding, which leads to them understanding more about the industry. So I do believe the trend of prop firms is breaking down the barriers of, what's happening behind the scenes of a brokerage, right? So I think for the prop firm traders, understand the industry, understand how it works, know what to look for in the right prop firms, right? Like with Nostro, and really understanding and thinking from a business point of view, right? Why are these prop firms putting this on their website or acting like that, or putting this, for example, Centroid Prop Shield badge? Are they attracting the right crowd or not, right?
Yeah,
and then 100%. That's essentially how you bring a greater sense of genuineness in the industry as a whole, on the broker side, on the prop firm side, and on the trader side.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mihai. It's been a pleasure.
Of course.
And we'll catch up. You'll be, if you're at the expo, I know. Oh, just ignore this, because we won't be going out.
No, we can still talk about it.
Yeah, but you do a lot of expos and things like that, don't you? So,
of course.
I know you're in Dubai next week, and then you were saying you're going into Hong Kong. So
hopefully, yeah.
So if any of our traders are out there, come and say hi to him when you're at the expos. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gents.
Thanks everyone.